Welcome, everyone, to the official debate section of the Charter Review.
Question: what kind of bear is best?
It's a ridiculous question.
False. Black bear.
Well, that's debatable.
Listen, you little wiseacre. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and sort of disagree with you there.
I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
All right, we're back. Few weeks. I don't know. It seemed like it was too long, but here for another episode of Not Exactly Experts. I'm Fur, joined with my co-host Rusty, and our trusty third man, Jarrett, joining us again today for another episode.
Oh, what up, guys? How's it going?
It's going. Doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
We got some interesting topics today, a little bit different. So, cell phones for kids. When's a good time for kids to start having them? At what age? It'll be interesting. And then speaking of kids, what about like in public when something's super awkward, as in a situation where a parent is upset or some sort of discipline? Is there ever an okay time to intervene and step in or say something? And third, someone is still in the news from our last episode. He's still in the news. Maybe things will quiet down. We'll see when this goes live. Antonio Brown. We're going to finish with that, though. Well, Rusty, hold your fire.
I'm trying.
Don't go in fuego on us. We'll talk about that.
Since this whole thing has started, I mean, I think your phone and my phone, Fur, have been just blowing up with Rusty. I'm like, this idiot, this guy, what is he doing? We're like,
can't stand him.
So let's see if you can make it to the end. Let's before we get to that and the other two topics, let's also recap, obviously, real quickly what we talked about last time. So, of course, it was NFL related. It was an NFL dedicated episode. We talked about fantasy football, if it's good for the sport. We talked about preseason, which obviously we had polarized opinions on that. And then, of course, we touched on Antonio Brown at the time and the whole helmet gate, we'll call it at this point. So we put out some polls. Rusty, you want to cover those real quick?
Yeah. You guys don't know what's coming later. I'm just going to say that.
I'm excited.
Stick around.
It's going to get heated.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the polls. So you obviously brought up all of them. Let's start with the preseason. Is the NFL preseason a waste of time? And it was pretty lopsided. 65% of people saying yes. Obviously, only 35% then saying no. That doesn't really surprise me. I kind of thought the majority of people would say it's a waste of time. You know, I think the casual NFL watcher probably does not watch those and be entertained. You know, they're not real great games. It's more or less for the team. So another big topic we talked about was fantasy football and is it good for the sport? And same thing, you know, it's pretty lopsided. 67% saying yes. Obviously, 33% said no. Again, I didn't really surprise me. I thought maybe it'd be a little bit closer, but I figured most people would say yes. I think, to me, it's pretty obvious that it's good for the sport, but that's just me.
Did either of you two draft Antonio Brown in your fantasy leagues?
Heck no.
I am not in fantasy football this year.
You missed out.
No, I want no part of that.
So that was our last topic. Did we have a poll on Antonio Brown's helmet?
Yeah. So that was what it was. Should the NFL let Antonio Brown wear any dang helmet he wants? And again, it's pretty lopsided. 68% of people said no. So the majority of people agree that it's ridiculous. Wear the helmet they tell you to wear. Everybody else is doing it.
So moving on now. That's it for the polls?
That was it. We only had the three. Yep.
All right. So moving on to our first topic, cell phones. 96% of Americans own one. If you're 18 to 50-year-old, you are one of 99. You're likely one of 99% to own one. So pretty much everybody has a cell phone. At what point as a parent do you let your kid start having a cell phone?
Now, I have to go back to when I was a kid, and obviously in 2004, 2005, when I was graduating high school, cell phones still were kind of not really a big thing as they were now. I mean, I didn't get my first cell phone till freshman year in college.
Wow.
So yeah, so I would have to say the same thing, because look, there are things now, because people are always on this like, hey, beware of these apps on your kid's phone, beware of this, beware of that. And it's just like, well, there has to be a better way. There has to be, like, maybe don't give your kid a smartphone where he can download apps and he can download this. Just give him a flip phone or something. But the reason to think that you have to give your kid a cell phone at a certain age, I think is ridiculous. I mean, a kid that's in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, it's too young. You don't need a cell phone. I feel there's no reason for you to have a cell phone, because number one, I think a lot of people now, since they have one, you can just ask somebody. You're going to be with somebody, family, friends, that has one, that you're not going to need one right then. If you're that young, there's no reason for you to be having one at that young age. The only reason you have a cell phone now, I think, is when you go to college. That's the only time I feel like it's real. Okay, it's now time for you to have a cell phone now.
College?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with what I had.
College?
Yes, college.
You're
you don't
gonna be
agree?
single so long. How are you going to
college.
date in high school without a cell
kidding.
phone?
Nope.
Write me?
Nope, you're gonna call. We're gonna have a landline, and if your girlfriend or boyfriend calls the house, the first person I'm gonna talk to is old mom and dad, and they're like, "Hey, is so and so there?" And so my kids are gonna have to go through the embarrassment that I went through. So
Yes, but times were different. You just admitted cell phones, and they weren't as big, right? When we were younger, there were no smartphones yet. It was literally calling or very limited texting. God, do you remember texting? You had to push like 3 times to get to the letter R, and
Got really good at it.
yes, but that's all there was. That was the limit, and then there was the snake game, right?
yeah,
But it's completely different now. It's like a miniature computer. You've got everything on there. You could do your homework on your phone, but you're not if you're Jared's child, because you can't have one until college.
just because of I mean, like I said, just all the stuff you hear from the apps that they always say, hey, make sure your kids don't have these apps, and just how people can reach out to your kids at a younger age. If they're going to get a cell phone, it's not going to be a smartphone. It's going to be one of the first, like one of those Nokia cell phones that you did have.
Flip phones.
You did have a flip phone. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you're.
The Motorola Razr, bringing it back.
Oh my! You know what? If I hadn't ruined my Motorola Razr and a bag of Gatorade, I'd still probably using my Razr.
In a bag of Gatorade?
I put my phone and some Gatorade in a bag, and I was carrying it from my car to my house. I forgot to screw the top on my Gatorade, and it ruined my Razr. It was so devastating.
I do wish I still had a Razr phone. Like, that would be like retro throwback.
Oh yeah, be like like Andrew Luck, always using that flip phone.
So what age are they giving kids phones? Is it like 6 years old?
So the average,
young are we talking
on average, children are 12 when they receive their first mobile phone. 12 years old. Over half of children's 8 to 12 have a phone, and 1 in 5 kids that are 8 years or younger have a cell phone.
So what reason would you guys think they do that? Just so they can obviously always be in communication with their kids?
The world has changed. Absolutely. It's just to be able to be connected, right? If something comes up as a parent, right, you can reach your child immediately. You don't have to have your kid find a landline. Jared's kid's going to be running around trying to find a landline.
Find a messenger pigeon or something.
Because all his friends are going to be calling their parents, and he won't have a girlfriend or boyfriend because he doesn't have a phone.
Or if he does have a phone, it's a Razr phone, and he's getting bullied.
Yeah,
have the cool smartphone.
So I think it's peace of mind for the parent. It's convenience, right? So you can set up a tracker to where you can always see where your kid's at, to know, like, hey, he's actually at Jimmy's house, or He's actually at the movie theater where he or she's supposed to be, etc.
Or just left their phone there and took off.
Now, obviously,
that's always a possibility.
Obviously, with us not living in small towns anymore, how often were you away from your parents at the age of 8? I mean, that's because I'm thinking that's like 3rd or 2nd grade. Like there was no way I was going anywhere by myself at age 8, and even in Atwood, there was no way I was leaving the house by myself at 8.
Yeah, that's true. You were just learning to walk.
You didn't have a phone. I could believe that.
You don't know how close you are about that age. You have no idea how close that is.
We already know you can't read.
Yeah, so I just like that's 8 is way too early. It's way too early.
8's pretty early. I do agree. So Rusty, what's your age? What do you think's reasonable?
I don't know. I would agree if there's like a way to give them a phone that's not a complete smartphone where they can get into everything. But a couple friends I have that are parents have kind of shown me what they do with kids that they have that are in like middle school. And there's apps you can put on their phone that will only allow so many apps to be downloaded, and you can control exactly what they download. You can control how much time they have on their phone. You can like literally give them an allowance of 25 minutes today to be on your phone. And then the only thing that can be done with it is make calls. So there's a lot of technology that's used now to monitor all those apps that they tell you they shouldn't have Snapchat or they shouldn't have this or that. Parents can monitor a lot of that. So I do get why parents are giving to them pretty young. It's just like you said, it's that era where everybody wants to be in communication whenever it's possible. I mean, we do the same thing. I can't leave my house without my cell phone. I think if I do, crap, somebody might need to get a hold of me. It might be an emergency. They won't be able to talk to me when I should have it on me at all times. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's the same thing. We want to be able to, if something happens, be able to talk to our kids right away.
I think it's just a delicate balance. That if you allow your child to use it in moderation, I think it's more of a benefit than it is a detriment.
Yeah, and kids are going to be kids. They're going to find something to get into. I mean, it's just about teaching them to do the right things as much as possible, and using when you find them doing bad things as a good lesson. I can tell you one. I'll give you an internet thing that got me in trouble when I was a kid. You guys will like this. So.
Zelda?
Obviously. What? What'd you say?
Zelda?
Zelda, yes. No. So obviously we grew up in the illegal downloading of music age.
Oh my gosh.
So
Napster.
Obviously I was downloading some songs, had some rap song that I was like obsessed with, and I downloaded and printed off the lyrics. And I made the mistake of like leaving those lyrics right by the computer. And then my parents found them, and they're like, "My word, what are you listening to?"
Mama Doris was not happy.
And they sat me down. They're like, if some little kid had gotten killed around here and they went investigating and found this at our computer, they'd think you killed him. Like, all right, Mom.
You're lucky.
I learned my lesson.
You're lucky.
What song was it?
It was some Tupac, or maybe I don't know. I can't even tell you exactly which song.
So are you still sticking with no phone till high school, Jarrett?
College. I said college.
College. I can't. I'm still having a hard time fathoming that.
Yeah,
no phone. No cell phone till college.
Yeah.
What kid? I want to hear. I want to find someone whose parents in today's world do not let their kid have a cell phone until college. I don't think it exists.
They're Amish. That's what's going to happen. Because, there's no way. I would be very surprised that a parent today would not allow their kid to have a cell phone until college.
So you're being serious.
I'm absolutely dead up being serious. Now,
you're not going to allow your kid, if you have a kid, to have a phone till college.
Nope.
You're going to be so hated.
Nope.
Your kid's going to get bullied in school.
Why?
He or she's going to be uncool.
No, they're not.
Everyone else is going to have 96% of Americans own a cell phone.
Exactly. He can borrow one, or she can borrow one. They can look to the right and look to the left. Hey, can I borrow that cell phone?
So the closest that I could find anywhere on this, Jarrett, to you is actually high school. Someone relatively famous, Bill Gates, has 3 kids, did not let any of his 3 kids have a phone until high school. And one of them actually just recently turned 14. So
Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm probably one of those people that are just scared of, it's just like, you don't need it. And I know in Target they sell like little blue discs, and basically you just press a button and it connects directly to your phone. So your kid has it, so it's not a cell phone, but it's kind of like a miniature blue walkie-talkie. So it's right there, and it only connects to you.
is your kid going to get that?
Maybe.
At what age?
That's as far as it's going to go. Either that, he's going to just a couple of cans and some string, and that's about much as communications he's going to have with his friends.
Feel really bad for your kids.
Oh man, I'm going to buy him Ataris. I'm like, this is it. This is what the cool kids are playing now, is Pong.
Hey, Ataris are going to be probably are still cool, I think, but maybe they'll make even a bigger comeback. Yeah. So moving on to the next subject area, let me just paint a picture in your guys' head real quick. So you're in Walmart or Target or some big store.
Okay.
And you are walking along, and in the aisles you see a child that's crying, fussing, noticeably upset, with a male figure, adult, pushing the cart with her. And as you get closer, you see this girl actually has her hair wrapped around the cart handle, and the male adult figure has it clinched onto the cart handle. And so, her head is right next to the shopping cart, and she's obviously crying and upset. And she's saying, please stop. I won't do it again. I promise. Please stop. What do you guys do? Do you do anything? Do you say something? Do you let it be?
Did this happen to you?
This is a true story.
Oh my
It did not happen
gosh.
to me. It did not happen to me, but this is a true story that happened in the U.S.
That's pretty bad. Like, I get disciplined, but that's taking another level.
And this maybe is more to an extreme, which is probably why it made news. But is there a point at somewhere along the lines when you intervene, or is this completely up to the adult and the child? Do you step in? I mean, where do we stand on this?
Obviously, you don't know the person, right?
No, you don't know the person.
Like, it's different in small town because you know the person. You don't necessarily go up and talk to them, but you can call the authorities and say, hey, I saw this. You might, want to go.
But does it matter if you know them or not?
Well, that's what I'm saying is, like, what are you going to accomplish by going up and trying to say something? Like, do you think you're actually going to get the dad or parent to stop? Is it just going to create more of a scene? Is it going to make it worse? I don't know.
And Rusty, I agree with you. Let's just say that you intervene and you say something. Now, that parent is not going to, what I'm doing is wrong. I should not be doing this. And then all of a sudden, they're going to change the way they parent. That's not going to happen. There's a confrontation that's going to happen in the store. Something's going to happen. Now, if it's to the absolute extreme, to like, oh my gosh, that's child abuse. That's child abuse. Some people will probably step in and stop the person. It's just like, hey, we're not allowing you to leave. We're not going to allow you to go. So we're going to call the cops. We're going to get them down here, and we're going to get this situation figured out, and hopefully we're going to get this kid. Some investigation is going to happen. We're going to figure out what in the world's going on here, because this can't be the first time that you've ever disciplined your kid like this.
Mm-hmm.
But
how extreme does it have to be? Is the example I gave, is that considered extreme enough for you to step in and either say something or discreetly report it to the authorities?
See, for me, I shy away from confrontation.
Right.
I do. It doesn't matter. I mean, it could be absolute. I mean, once again, the kid could be crying and crying, and the parents just tugging at their arm or something, and then all of a sudden they let go of their arm and just smack them. I mean, just upright, just smack them on the side of the head. Now I might stare, but I'm not going to say anything. But I'm not going to say
He
anything.
might video it, but he's not going to go do something.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't like confrontation at all. I don't want, and even if it's something minor, that if I see something kind of wrong, like, well, I should just let them know. It's like, that's not right, or if I hear something, it's just like, well, that's not true. But I don't like confrontation.
What if it's like verbal? What if they're verbally abusing a child, like calling them super derogatory things, cussing them out, swearing?
I'll stop and I'll stop and look. Like, I'll stop and stare, and maybe if our eyes meet, maybe they'll take my.
Because you're a big dude. I feel like in most situations, you're going to be taller, bigger, more scarier, right? Even though you're a giant teddy bear, they don't know that, right?
No. Hopefully
I would like to intervene, but I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm probably with Jarrett on some things, but if I think the kid's like life is in danger, like it's to that extreme, like they're actually going to physically hurt this kid where they're going to like end up in the hospital, I'd probably have to say something or do something.
I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is if they're doing this in public, what are they doing at home?
Exactly.
It's you'd think it would be worse.
Now,
Probably.
I think now in a mob mentality, maybe not the best word to use. Let's just say like a couple people step in. Let's just say like one or two people step in, they stop him because they realize like, hey, what this guy is doing is wrong. No matter if he's, I mean, like he could be beating up a 1 or 2 year old because they're crying, just slapping them on the head, and then all of a sudden two people come in and say, hey, we're not allowing you to leave. And he starts to be more aggressive. I might be more intended than now to join in because I say, okay, I've seen more people jump in here.
Right.
I know I see it's wrong. These people see it's wrong here. Now I'm going to step in now. But I personally will never be the first one. I completely, and you can ask my wife this, I completely stay away from confrontation. It could be minor. And I will just like if I get the wrong food at a restaurant, I won't say anything. I'm like, well, it's okay. It might be good. I'll just try it. So I stay away from confrontation.
I mean, there is. What's your reasoning? Are you afraid that you could be retaliated against? You just don't like the uncomfortableness of it? That's
what it is. It is the uncomfortableness, and I'm a peace-loving guy. I don't want. Number one, I don't want it to come to confrontation, fisticuffs, because I've seen myself fight and it's embarrassing. So
but
I don't.
Do you ever have that, like? Maybe you've never been in the situation that we used at the beginning about the shopping cart and the girl's hair, but I feel like if I didn't say anything, I would be like feeling horrible for a long time afterward, because I'd be like, man, like I didn't say something. I didn't go over there. What if things are even worse off now? I just feel like I would feel worse not saying something in that situation than actually going up and at least trying to help.
Has there been a situation that you guys have ever experienced like that? Because I can't think of something to where like a moment happened like that, or maybe.
So there's been a couple, but I've been not in a public situation where I didn't feel quite as safe, right? It's been more isolated, and it wasn't anything as serious as that. I can think of one time where there was a father just cussing out his kid. And I was out on a lake, and they were on the other side of a cove, and it was just me and a buddy on a boat, and this guy and another dude on a boat, and nobody else anywhere else. And then the stuff that rolls through my mind is like, well, what if that guy has a gun? And there's no one here, like, who knows? In a public situation, I think it's a little bit different. But to give an example, like that stuff is legit. So in Philadelphia, I don't know, 8 years back, 8 years back, another situation, mom was like hitting on her kid, like making a real bad scene. And someone spoke up and basically criticized the mother. The mother made a phone call on the bus ride, and the stop the mother and the kid got off on, once she was off, these two people showed up and started shooting the bus. Wow. So it's like, man, you feel like you have at least I feel like you have a moral obligation to step up and protect a child who maybe is defenseless, right, and younger and can't speak up for themselves, that is being abused. But at the same time, in today's world, you have those risks that you have to weigh.
Social media seems to, change everything, because everything you do can land on, Twitter, Facebook, and then who knows, everybody's going to see it. So it makes you act a little bit differently. But I can give you guys some examples. I worked at Walmart and in Colby, in a small town. So I saw a couple things. There was one instance that when we started talking about this came right to mind. But it wasn't terrible. I mean, I'm sitting there working and I hear parents struggling with the kid. The kid was probably, 6 years old, and he's just being a nuisance. And they keep saying, you need to calm down. We're in public. Stop. And it just keeps escalating. And then I'm kind of trying to ignore it, but I'm interested because I can hear everything that's going on. And then all of a sudden they stop talking and you just hear a bat, bat. They spanked the kid and he just starts crying. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, yeah, that crap happened to me all the freaking time when I was little, because I was just, a hellion. And then in a second, I'm like, man, I don't know if I would do that in public, because I just saw and heard that and it sounded bad. It probably wasn't as bad as it sounded, but
right.
I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like, man, hate to be that kid.
So I guess we're now in that situation. Now we're talking about a kid who's 6, 7, 8, that age range. And the parents have given warning after warning after warning after warning. It's like, please stop. They've tried to talk. It's like, let's calm down. But it's just like, okay, well, maybe a parent needs to step up. It's like, just take the kid. Take him. Like, we don't have to stay here. Like, you don't need my help here. Take little Johnny, take him outside and handle it.
Yeah,
put him in the
discipline.
car, back.
Discipline in public is just awkward to begin with.
Yeah,
like typically something that's happened, handled within the family. Like, I agree. Take him to the restroom, give him a good talking to. If that doesn't calm him down, give him a little spanking and then move on. But yeah, I've also seen it the other way where some kid is acting ridiculous and the parents are doing nothing. And you're just like, man, I would give you a high five if you would do something at this point to get your child to act right.
Yeah, it's tough, obviously. So for those wondering, right, if you ever do have a situation where you feel like you need to intervene or you should intervene, based on what I've read, the best thing that I've seen recommended is to approach it obviously very neutrally, right? Not acting like you're condemning them, but walking up and just asking like, hey, is everything okay? Is there anything I can do to help? Hey, I'm a father too. I know temper tantrums can be a pain. Is there anything I can do to help? Often is a good way to diffuse the situation. So,
all right.
Last episode, we talked about this guy named Antonio Brown, who I picked as my first round pick on my fantasy team. And Rusty thinks I'm crazy.
Stupid.
Oh, Rusty has some strong feelings about this whole situation, and this is where I was going to step in and be the moderator, because this is two different viewpoints from Fur and Rusty. And just in case anyone doesn't know, I'll try to a quick overview here. So before the NFL season started, the Pittsburgh Steelers traded Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders because he was such a headache. After him burning his feet in a cryovac, and then finally, what?
He froze him.
He froze him, which is weird. And then two grievances
in
the summer. Two grievances filed by the NFL because of his helmet. He did not participate in practice, did not participate in mini camps, did not participate in preseason games. Nothing. The Raiders finally released him, among of other things, which I'm pretty sure Rusty will get to. The Raiders released him. And just a couple days ago, the New England Patriots then picked him up, and I'm assuming he's going to play in the Patriots' next ball game. Rusty has been very adamant about his absolute hate and dislike in this guy, while Fur, on the other hand, seems to understand the problem and understands where he's coming from.
Wants to be his best friend.
Wants to be his best friend, probably has him on speed dial. So
I talked to him earlier before the episode.
So we're going to get it straight from the horse's mouth here. And like I said, I'm going to try to be the moderator for this situation. So, Rusty, I'll let you go first because I know this has been building and building and building for quite a few days now, and you have some pretty strong feelings about this guy.
Get it off your chest, buddy.
Yeah, let's go.
I have no idea how you can take this guy's side in it. I just don't. I can't wait to hear what you have to say, actually, because I literally can't think of any reason why somebody would think what he did was perfectly fine. But there's a lot of context to it. So to start with, you have to go back to last year. So Jarrett alluded to it. He got traded by the Steelers. Well, why did he get traded? If he's such an amazing player, all he does is, catch passes, score touchdowns, whatever it is. Why did he get traded? Well, it goes back to week 17 of last year. He has this huge altercation with Big Ben in practice, so the quarterback. And everybody says it was AB at fault. He was being ridiculous. He throws a football at Ben Roethlisberger and gets all mad and leaves practice, acts like a kid. So because of all of his antics with the Steelers, they make him inactive for the game. So he's upset. Once he doesn't actually find this out until he gets to the game. They tell him, hey, you're going to be active. We didn't appreciate what you did at practice. And he leaves the game at halftime. This is week 17. The Steelers need to win this game to get in the playoffs. And he leaves his brothers. He says, screw you guys. I'm sick of it. It's all about me. I'm leaving. And after this, again, like Jarrett said, he gets traded to the Raiders for a 3rd and 5th round pick, which really wasn't even that much. For somebody that's really that great, you would think a couple first rounders. So the Steelers did not value him. They're saying at this point, he's so much of a freaking headache. Get him the heck off my team. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to the Raiders, signs this big contract, $50 million, $30 million guaranteed, and goes on this Instagram love fest saying he loves the Raiders. He loves Derek Carr, love at first sight. He's doing interviews saying he's going to be such a team player. He just wants to win and help the Raiders out in any way he can. He tells people like Jerry Rice he loves the Bay Area. He's going to be there a long time. He's going to help the Raiders win. And then all this crap unfolds. The helmet thing was stupid. Everybody else in the league is wearing the helmet they have to and being just fine with it.
He liked his helmet. Maybe he's
Who
superstitious.
cares?
He should be able to wear whatever helmet he wants to wear.
That's
By the
ridiculous.
way, you can't tell an NFL player that when he shows up to play the game that, you're going to go on the field. Never mind. Actually, you're suspended for this game. That's not fair to him to tell him right before a game like that. I'd been upset too.
So it's fair to do what he does in practice?
Look,
you can't act like a kid. He's an adult making millions of dollars, man. It's completely ridiculous. He deserved to be suspended for the game. At that point, it wasn't the first time this had happened, man. They got sick of it. They were sick of it. So ship him off. Get him the heck out of here. But the helmet thing was just the start of it. Like, he just shows it's all about him. So he could have stayed at practice. This was the whole problem. He could have been at practice saying, hey, I want my own helmet. But he didn't. He went home. He didn't participate in practice, and he gets fined for it, which he has a problem with. It's in the frickin' CBA that if you don't show up to mandatory practice, you get fined. He knew that was going to happen. So I'm telling you, through all of this, he orchestrated the whole frickin' thing. He never wanted to be there. Wanted to be there.
And we'll get back to Rusty a little bit, just kind of covering it. So since they fined him, the Raiders then pretty much made his $29 million guaranteed void because of the fine. So now, let's go to you, and then, like I said, Rusty, you can cover more of it because obviously you had a spat with the GM. So, what's your point? Why do you side with AB in this whole situation, and not just the helmet, but what the whole Raider situation? Like, why are you on his side?
Well, first off, he was told by the NFL, they're like, look, if you can go find a helmet, right, that is within these years, that is the type of helmet that he wanted. If you can find a helmet, we'll let you play. And if I'm not mistaken, they went back on their decision and said, actually, never mind, we're not going to approve any of those helmets. You just need to wear the new one.
It had to meet the test, and the one that they thought was going to didn't meet the test. It was still unsafe, is what they said.
Yes.
And I can tell you a couple three people that are pretty excited about the fact that he's at the Patriots now. His name's Bill Belichick. His name's
Robert Kraft.
Robert
Tom
Kraft.
Brady.
His name's Tom Brady. They seem pretty excited. Tom Brady offered to literally told Antonio Brown, hey, if you want to come stay at my house while you find a new place, you're welcome to. I'm 100%. He literally quoted said he's 1,000,000% on board with Antonio Brown coming to the Patriots.
Good for them. Good for them. I mean, the Patriots never do anything out of line. They've never cheated. They didn't just have their owner getting handies in the
Haters
back room
gonna
at a
hate.
freaking illegal sex ring.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, because they will do anything they have to win. They don't care about moral compass. Who gives a crap, right? It's just football.
So, why are you supporting Antonio Brown? I know, you mentioned the Patriots, and Patriot fans are happy with Antonio Brown being with the Patriots. But why are you supporting AB and what he did to the Raiders?
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is I don't see why people are so upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would argue Antonio Brown's a genius. Like he got what he wanted, which I'm guessing is he got what he wanted was to go to the Patriots. He got a signing bonus. He's probably going to win a Super Bowl this year. Like he is set now on the Patriots and a stacked team. He's a genius. He absolutely
So let's just do everything we want to win and just burn everybody else to the ground. Who cares about the rest of everybody, right? Just do what's good for me. That's what we're doing now.
If you're mad, you should be mad at the NFL for allowing this to happen. Not at Antonio
within
Brown.
the rules. The people I'm mad at is Antonio Brown. He's the one acting like a child through the whole process.
Would you be mad if the Chiefs drafted him?
Yeah.
Why?
If he acted like that on my team and we invested money in draft capital in him and then he did all that and then left the team?
No. Would you be mad if instead of the Patriots that he just now signed with the Chiefs and he's like, dude, I'm here.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes, let's roll, baby. We're going to win us a Super Bowl. Would you be mad about that?
I'd be pissed. I don't want any
Why?
part of that in my locker room. Because he's a cancer for a team. He's shown that twice now. And I'm telling you right now, there's going to come a time with the Patriots that he's going to do something that they don't like.
So then as a Chiefs fan, shouldn't you be loving this? Because he now plays for the Patriots. If you think he's going to bring the team down, you should be thrilled about this whole thing, not upset about it.
I'm upset. I'm not even, the upset part wasn't even with the Patriots. I'm just upset at what he did through this whole thing. I mean, you're talking about, well, he can just play the system. He's a genius and he can make millions of dollars and win a Super Bowl, but who cares what he does to other people, right? It doesn't matter that the Raiders spent money on him and did all these different things and tried to make it work time and time again. And then he can just act like a child and he gets his way. That's what's wrong with it, is it makes me so disappointed in the NFL that he can do that and come away winning. That's ridiculous. What a life lesson.
And there goes to that. You're just basically saying the NFL is messed up because you're upset with the NFL, which I agree. I don't think that should be able to happen. But your beef should be with the NFL, not with Antonio Brown. He totally played the system.
Yeah, I mean.
And here's the thing. We may not know the whole story.
Thing?
We may not know the whole story. John, Coach Gruden, who probably looks like an absolute schmuff in this whole thing. And I quote, says, he is a good guy. Talking about Antonio Brown. He's misunderstood by a lot of people, but he's a good guy.
Bro, no coach is going to go on any radio show, anything on NFL Network or ESPN and say bad things about any player. They're just not going to do it. He cannot recruit anybody to come want to be part of the Raiders if he does that, regardless of the situation. You as a coach or a GM, you have to just say, hey, it didn't work out. Wish him all the best.
Totally
right?
agree. He could have just said that, but he said he's a good guy. He's misunderstood by a lot of people, but he's a good guy.
He's keeping that door open. He's keeping that door open in case he wants to come back to the Raiders.
He's such a good guy that he threatened to punch his boss. He threatened to punch Mike Mayock, who's the GM of the Raiders, called him a cracker, which is a racial slur. It really should be no different than the N-word, really. And then punts the ball. Dude, everybody that was there was confirming it. Rumors. He was fined $200,000 for it. I think that's enough of a confirmation for you. So
The details of the confrontation are a little bit cloudy, but yes, he was fined from some antics that he did.
And for now, I take now right now in this argument, I'm taking your side. He played the game.
Absolutely.
He wanted to get I mean, for as far as we know, he did not want to play for the Raiders. He took several steps.
He may have at one point.
Yeah, he
I don't
probably
think
would
so.
have at one point, but something happened to where he changed his mind. Whether the feet situation, the helmet, he threatened to retire, which should be a sign. It's just like, okay, it's a helmet. Why are you threatening to retire? We're going to give you $80 million to play.
I just don't think he likes Vegas.
Probably not.
then why sign a contract?
Too many bad nights there.
He didn't have to sign a contract with the Raiders.
Right, and like I was going to kind of get to that. So I agree with you. He played the game. He wanted to be released by the Raiders. He put it on Instagram. He's like, Raiders, release me. Let me go. And on the other hand, Rusty, I agree with you. It's just like, hey, if you didn't want to play with the Raiders, you could have become a free agent. I mean, it doesn't say in your contract that, oh, you got traded to so-and-so team. I don't want to play with them. I'm going to sit out. Like, I'm not going to play. And stay tuned for trivia because we're going to get to that here in a little bit. So
I don't think he wanted to. I don't think he went into signing with the Raiders with the plan to leave. I don't think that's how it originally started. I genuinely believe that he actually initially wanted to be a Raider.
And
now, how quickly that deteriorated, I don't know. But
everything that happened from that point was all on him. It was all of his fault. None of it was the Raiders' fault.
Would we be where we are today if he could still wear that helmet? I don't think so. I think he'd still be a Raider if he could have worn that helmet. I think he was just fed up with it and was like,
that had nothing to do with the Raiders. That's the NFL. The NFL made that rule. The Raiders just said, hey, bro, you have to follow that rule because if you don't, we get fined.
It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. That's why I think there's more to the story we don't know.
Oh, trust me, Antonio Brown will do an interview. Now, whether it's all true or not, and we'll find, I mean, he will do an interview and he will talk with the situation about the Raiders.
Not while he's on the Patriots.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. So once again, we're talking about.
Do you guys think it'll play out? Do you think it'll play out in the Patriots? Do you think Belichick lays down the law and all these annex stop? Or do you think he doesn't even last a season?
I think the annex stop. I think if something happens, Bill Belichick's going to say something because you think of the big names that the Patriots have had, Randy Moss, Chad Ochocinco, that they didn't have the headaches. For some reason, when people go to the Patriots, the nonsense stops.
And you have to know that Antonio Brown knows this. Like Bill Belichick has, there's no like, oh, maybe I can be the one that gets away with it. Everybody knows if I'm going to the Patriots, like it's hammer down.
It's pretty freaking clear he thinks he's above everything at this point, though. All he does now is complain and thinks he gets his way. So I guarantee there's going to be some confrontations. And it's not even just about the off the field stuff. Like half this boiled down with Big Ben and the Steelers was because he was freelancing on the field, like not running the route he's supposed to and not being where he's supposed to and just doing his own thing. And it would lead to interceptions or they wouldn't score. And so they just had enough of it. Like every single thing he's done has shown that it is me before we. And I cannot stand that in a football game where it's all about the team. He has not shown the capability of doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised one bit if it doesn't last the whole season. I think there will eventually be something. If any team is going to be able to do it, it's probably the Patriots, but I wouldn't put money on it at all.
Well, since we kind of covered those bases here a little bit, and I know we were talking about this subject, and it got me thinking of some good trivia questions. And so now this is kind of the first time that you guys have pretty much gone head to head with trivia, correct?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is so I got to thinking about times in sports where a player has requested trades or did not want to play for certain teams.
This is going to be bad.
Yeah. And like I said, I think it might be a little bit difficult. I do have a tiebreaker question. So for the first question, once again, all this contains players that requested a trade or requested to be released from their certain team. Now, this might be difficult. Okay, so So here we go. Question number 1. Now, this player only played 9 games in the 2017-2018 season due to a quad injury. The team and player disagreed about the severity of the injury and the best course of action. He spent much of his recovery time away from this NBA team, consulting with his own doctors and rehabbing at the Players Union gym in New York. He reportedly felt his decisions on how to treat the injury bothered the team, and in June he notified the franchise that he would like to play elsewhere. What player am I talking about?
I have absolutely no idea, but we're going to take a guess.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is wrong, but I know he had some injuries. Derrick Rose.
Okay. Now, Rusty, what's your guess? You won't get
Kawhi Leonard.
It is Kawhi Leonard. He requested a trade from the Spurs because the teams did not think that he was the severity of his injury was enough to be sustained from the season.
That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen too. Like when it comes down to an injury, and then they're either calling you a liar or a
yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, that's what they said. So Fur doesn't get the point. So now we'll go to Rusty. Now question number 2. Now this one might be a little bit easier, and Fur, you might know this one too. So this player was the clear-cut number 1 player in the 2004 NFL Draft, and the team with the top pick thought it had found its franchise quarterback. Within the player's agent broadsided this NFL team just days before the draft by saying his dad had made it clear he didn't want his son playing for this floundering NFL franchise. What player am I talking about?
I believe it is Eli Manning.
That is correct. Eli Manning did not want to play for the San Diego Chargers, and when he was drafted first overall by the Chargers, the commissioner gave him the jersey and gave him the hat and said, put on the hat. And you can see a YouTube clip of Eli just frowning and shaking his head no. All right, for now, third question here. Now, kind of the same situation. This NFL team selected this player at the top pick of the 1983 NFL Draft, despite his father having told the team months earlier that his son would never play for them. But this player had something Manning didn't, a baseball career to fall back on, as the Yankees had taken him in the second round of the 1981 Draft and had threatened to leave football behind. The team caved eventually, though, and dealt him to another NFL franchise. Who am I talking about?
Joe Flacco.
1980. Yes. I don't think Joe Flacco was born in 1983. I'll give you a hint. This 1983 was the draft class of 3 legendary NFL quarterbacks.
You realize I'm not even an NFL fan?
I'm not
Joe
even
Montana.
Sure this one.
No, Rusty, who is it?
I'm not sure I know.
It was John Elway.
It was
Wow.
Elway.
John Elway was drafted by the Baltimore Colts, and he had said months before that he would not play for the Colts. So then the Colts sent him to Denver. Okay, so no points on that one. So I think it's one to nothing, right?
He has 2. If you count his steal that he got from
I
me.
don't think I got the steal. Did you count it that way?
Yeah, let's count. I want you to just totally annihilate me here. Because it's going to be your only chance.
Okay, so it's 2-0 then. Okay, so then back to Rusty. Okay, question 4. All right, and this one surprised me. I didn't know this one. This 18-time All-Star request was a rare one.
You didn't know this one, and you're asking. I'm a part of this trivia question, and you don't even know it.
Well, this is Rusty's
My chances
turn.
are good.
All right, good luck, Rusty.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
this 18-time All-Star request was a rare one that hadn't mediated through an anonymous source. In 2007, this 5-time NBA champion told Stephen A. Smith on the radio that I would like to be traded. Yeah. The player was upset that someone with his legendary NBA organization leaked falsely that he had claimed that he was the reason that this other 15-time All-Star had left the team. What player am I talking about?
I have no idea. It's Kobe Bryant. I had no idea.
Yes, it is.
Was it for Shaq leaving? Who left?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Shaq had left the Lakers, and Kobe Bryant was being blamed for it.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now here's one. This is going to be worth 5 points if
Is this the last question?
Yeah, this is the last question
Right.
on this side.
Okay.
So the demand for Kobe Bryant being traded led to Kobe being traded for this player. What player was it? I'll give you a hint. The second sentence in that was, this trade would have stopped the rotation of the earth, according to this article.
Making this too easy if it's going to be a 5-pointer.
Stop the rotation of the Earth. I don't know. Dwight Howard?
Rusty, you got a guess?
I would guess LeBron James.
That's right. LeBron James was also in that talk for being traded to the Lakers back in
Can you
2007.
imagine had they done that?
Yeah, that would have been
stopped the Earth. Wow.
That would have. Kobe to the Cavaliers and LeBron to the Lakers in their respective primes.
Wow.
So, last question here. All right, Rusty. So this is basically just a runaway with it.
This is for negative 4 points if you don't get it.
that's.
I don't. Oh crap.
All right, this NBA player broke Kobe Bryant's record by playing in his 21st consecutive season this past season, all with this one NBA team. Who am I talking about?
I'm trying to think of somebody that's played in the NBA for the same damn team. Dirk?
Yes,
Dirk Nowitzki? Okay.
Dirk Nowitzki. So, I mean, for what do you like? I mean, tell me something that you have a lot of knowledge about. We can bring up those trivia questions on.
Should have been like something related to Antonio Brown, how many tattoos he has.
I'm not real good with names and historical dates and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's just not the type of things I remember. It's just
I feel like you know a lot more KU Jayhawk basketball stuff than I do.
Yeah.
I like real sports.
That'd have been a good one for us because he probably would have taken me on that one.
So let's do a quick little this or that. Rusty, I know we were talking about this before the show. Interested to hear your guys' opinion on these. This or that. Would you rather have a shot? Would you rather get a shot right in the arm, for example, not shot by a gun, but a needle, or hear 10 seconds of nails down a chalkboard?
I'd rather get a shot. I've had plenty of blood drawn for blood donations. I'd rather get a shot because I can't stand nails on a chalkboard. I feel like I just start getting like, I don't know, some kind of body shakes when I hear it. And I was just like, I can't do it for very longer.
I'll take the nails on the chalkboard. I hate shots.
So
I have to get my blood drawn every 3 months because I'm diabetic, but I hate shots. Blood drawn's fine, but shots I can't.
That's interesting. So blood drawn doesn't bother either of you?
Not really. No.
But when I feel whatever it is that they're injecting into me,
that's what bothers you.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah.
So it's not the actual needle that bothers you; it's feeling it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious then, this or that, shot or stitches?
I've never gotten stitches.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on that. I've never gotten stitches either.
I got butterfly stitches when I was like 4 because my brother pushed me into the fireplace. Does that count? We were playing lava, right? So we were jumping from the couch to the chair to the other couch to the fireplace, and I wasn't going fast enough, and he pushed me, and I hit right on the corner, and I was bleeding. I don't remember all of it. My mom said I ran in there. She's like, "Oh, just go play with your brother," and she looks over, and like blood's just dripping down my face.
The good old lava. That's a 90s version of today's parkour.
Yeah, I didn't play it very much after that. So, what about you, Fur?
Well, stitches you don't feel. I think more into this though. I guess if I'm getting a shot, it's likely not something as severe as if I'm getting stitches. I probably did something real bad if I'm getting stitches. If I'm getting a shot, I think of it as like a flu shot or something that's good. So I think I'd rather take a shot, although I hate needles, freaking hate needles. Every time I go in, whether it's to get blood tested or to draw blood or to get a flu shot, hate needles. And they don't even hurt. Like just I work myself up and like, get the sweaty palms, and I'm sure my heart rate's up. And then the nurse does it, and it's like, That
I
wasn't
think
that bad.
it stems from like when we were little and we had to get those hepatitis shots at school, and they did not do those gently. They would like just bam right into your freaking arm, and you're just like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
Maybe
you
that's
really have
it.
to do that.
And then I've got the horror stories of like when you do get a needle, like if you have to get an IV or something, and like they're missing or they're digging around in there, and then you have like a bruise forever that hurts and you can't extend your arm straight. So I think that's also where it stems for me.
Never had that.
And
happen.
I remember that too. I remember when I was sick and I was a little kid and I was so dehydrated. I was stabbed in my left arm at least 13 to 14 times. Could not find a vein. And they brought in 2 to 3 nurses, each one with more experience. So one nurse had.
Wait, did you say they couldn't find a vein or a brain?
Man, poor Jarrett.
I know.
You
sorry.
just won his trivia game and you're bashing him.
My brain is up here, not
It
there.
just worked
My
too
brain is
easily.
Here. Yeah, find a vein.
Oh,
Find
okay.
a vein. And so then they brought in and I remember at the very end I cried so much. She's like, this nurse always gets a vein. I don't care what happens, she always gets a vein. She always seems to do it.
Oh, there she jinxed it.
And yep, she missed it 3 times. And I remember she was doing it, and all of a sudden, like her 3rd time, she's like, I'm gonna try a couple more times. She did it. Then all of a sudden, I see her head just shake her head. It's like, nope, I missed it, and I just broke down. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. Like this is terrible. Like this is the worst feeling I've ever had in my life.
All right, so last this or that.
Wait, I got one. Can I do one?
Yeah.
So I just kind of made this one up. So my brother, talking about shots, we're going to talk about 2 different type of shots. So the shot in your arm, like we're talking about, and then a shot of alcohol. But here's the alcohol. My brother had to do this on his like 25th birthday. We were out. We went and we said, hey, give us the nastiest shot you can make and bring it to him. I'm going to give it to my brother. It was tequila warmed up with mayonnaise in it. So it looked like they called it a tapeworm shot. Would you rather take a warm tequila shot with mayonnaise in it or a shot in the arm?
Warm tequila mayonnaise.
Shot in the arm, man.
No.
I'd probably take the shot in the arm. That's disgusting.
No, warm tequila. First off, warm tequila is great.
Ugh.
And mayonnaise can't make it that bad. Okay, not great, but warm tequila is like, it's not that bad. And so how much mayonnaise was in it? Like
it was just like enough to look like a little worm that was in the shot.
Yeah, shot of tequila and mayonnaise. Let's go all day long. So while we're talking about shots, last this or that, blood involved. Would you rather have a tick or a leech attached to you?
Either. I'd rather die.
You got to pick one.
Probably a tick. I've never had a leech, and they just seem disgusting.
Jarrett?
I'm going to have to say a tick because I think leeches are way bigger, and I would imagine just a little tick wouldn't be as bad. It's like, oh, I got a little tick, just need to squeeze it, but
you guys may not be thinking about something here. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Ticks could be anywhere.
No, I'm taking leech all day long because ticks carry illnesses. You've got all these things that that they carry, these pathogens. I don't think leeches do. I think they just suck your blood. In fact, they're used in some forms of medicine. Get the ticks away from me. I do not want a tick on me. I don't want any of the potential diseases. I'll take a leech every single day. Yeah. All right, let's wrap this baby up.
I think you're crazy for taking AB's side, but I love you regardless.
I just think it's a little blown out of proportion. All right, we're wrapping it up. Everyone, thank you for listening. We love seeing your comments and your likes and your votes on Facebook. So make sure you check us out there and on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Fur.
I'm Jarrett.
And I'm Rusty.
Thanks for listening. Not Exactly Experts. We'll catch you next time.
I can't stop my end zone dancing moves. When I shake it, they can't take it. Let me win a Super Bowl with you. Oh, you love it. One more of it.